Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Star Wars Wednesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with Star Wars, the Black Series, the Phantom Menace 3-pack of Qui-Gon Jinn, Darth Maul, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging. And here on the top, we've got a nice big long window to let some light in from the top. On the front, Star Wars, the Black Series. And here we have the stripe, Star Wars, the Phantom Menace. Goes around this side, goes all the way around the back, goes all the way not around this side. So it goes everywhere but this side. So then we have a nice big window showcasing the figures, all three of their figures, and their accessories. Star Wars, the Phantom Menace. Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. Qui-Gon Jinn, Darth Maul, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and there's the assortment number right there. 4 and up, Hasbro print. On the bottom, we've got small print, fine print, legalese print, made in China print, symbols I'm not going to learn, and a barcode. That's it. On this side, nothing much except the window and that striped Star Wars, the Black Series logo at the bottom. Then on this side, we've got some nice artwork of Qui-Gon Jinn, Darth Maul, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. On the back, again, we have that nice artwork of all three characters. Star Wars, the Black Series, Qui-Gon Jinn, Darth Maul, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Darth Maul came to Naboo with a mission to destroy Queen Amidala. Instead, he was met with the formidable Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and a fateful battle began. And then there it is in some other languages I do not read. Star Wars, the Phantom Menace again. Here we have, warning, attention, Octoon, don't stick things in any language pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. Attention, especially don't stick it in your French pie hole. Includes 3 figures and 3 accessories. And then here we have some more small fine legalese, made in China print, Disney print, a stamped in number, and Hasbro print. That, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figures and their accessories. And first up, we'll take a look at all 3 of the accessories. And first up here, we have Qui-Gon's lightsaber, which is green, so it probably will not show up on the chroma key. But on this side, it looks like it's molded in black plastic, and then it has some silver paint apps on it. Does have post right there for putting it onto his belt, and I'm assuming the blade does pull out. It does pull out, and it does have the thicker peg in it, so I do like that, and it snaps in there and stays pretty good. Darth Maul's, we'll take a look at his next, and if you watched my Darth Maul and Sith Speeder review, you've already seen all of this, but nice red blades. They do pull out. Unfortunately, they do have a bit of the thinner peg on them. I don't like that. But they don't have the snap ring on it either. It does separate in the middle, and it does have a post to where it will only go back one way. And then it's got all kinds of little buttons and doodads on it. Looks like a nice silver paint app, maybe? Or is it molded in silver? I can't really tell. And then it's got a post right here to attach to his belt. Some paint apps on some of the buttons. And again, this one also unposted. And again, it does have the straight post, no snap ring on it. and it does stay in very well due to friction. Now let's take a look at Obi-Wan's. Of course, he has this nice blue blade, very deep blue. Looks like Qui-Gon's. It's molded in black plastic, and then it has silver paint apps. It's got some paint apps for the buttons here. Nice little silver paint apps on the hilt post there for storage on his belt. And let's see, his is the thinner peg as well, but again, it does not have the snap ring in it, so I'll feel a little bit better about it. Now, the snap rings do kind of help them stay in position, but they also make it harder to pop the blades in and out of the sabers safely. And these seem to be, you know, staying in place just fine without the snap ring. So I do like that. Now we'll take a look at Darth Maul first. He does have this same nice cloak that the Darth Maul and Sith Speeder set comes with. Again, no wires in it. It does have all these nice little pleats in it that do match the look of the movie. It's stitched right here. You can see the stitching is coming loose. It's stitched down at the base of the hood, I guess you could say. But then you can see it doesn't want to stay down. And I find the inclusion of the hoods on this set a little weird. So let me stop right here and I'll get the cloak off of him and we'll take a look at him. Alright, now I've got his cloak off. It's a little bit more involved than the other two. You have to pop his head off and then kind of slide it over his head. And you can see there's no wires or anything in here. It's just a nice looking soft goods cloak. Now, as far as the figure itself goes, again, if you watch that Darth Maul and Sith Speeder, or if you own the single carded release of the new version of Darth Maul, there's no surprises in this for you. The face may be different. Sculpt on the face may be different. I'm not 100% sure at the moment, but the difference between this one and the Sith Speeder version is, on the Sith Speeder version, this is all cloth soft goods on the lower waist. And as far as his deco goes, it's really, really cool. Now his ear on this side is warped. It actually is bent. So there's a QC issue right there. And I may be able to heat that up and fix it. Or I may just be able to fix it like that. So the ear was bent in the pack, and that was from being smushed into the tray, I'm sure. But very, very nice paint apps here for the face. No other paint apps really. As far as his articulation goes, he can look up that high, and the head's on a dumbbell. It's a ball at the bottom of the neck. They're three separate pieces: head, neck, and torso. So he's got chicken neck. He's got waggle. He can do the full exorcist. At the shoulders, he does have butterfly. It goes back that far. Goes forward that far. He can raise his arm up approximately 90 degrees at the shoulder, and it does have a 360 degree rotation there. Single hinge and swivel at the elbow. Swivels around 360 degrees and gives you, let's see, approximately 90 degrees worth of bend. 360 degrees rotation at the wrist, and it is on, what's it on? It's on it's on something akin to Indiana Jones Adventure series wrist. It actually has a peg coming out from the arm, and the hand pops onto that peg. So you get all kinds of little swivel motion there. And on the other side, the same. So, interesting. Cut here at the waist for a change. So he gets that much hula. He can lean back that far. He can lean forward that far. And he does have a 360 degree rotation there as well. At the hips, these do not seem to impede the range of motion. And he gives you the full splits. At least on the splits it doesn't seem to affect it this way either. We'll go ahead and say that's approximately 90 degrees. Kicks forward and backwards. Okay, it's not impeding it backwards either. And he gets, we'll go ahead and call that a half a step. He does have a cut here at the upper mid thigh for another 360 degrees worth of rotation. Single hinge and swivel at the knee, swivels around 360 degrees and gives you, looks like slightly better than 90 degrees. Nothing in the shin. At the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up that far, and forward facing pin for rocker. So there's Darth Maul out of the way. Let's take a look at Qui-Gon, because I've been waiting quite a while to get my hands on a Qui-Gon figure. And I'm kind of glad I missed out on it previously, because I think this is probably the best looking version from things that I've heard. As far as this cloak goes, it's your basic Jedi cloak. I mean, it looks okay. Hard to pose, no wires in it. And it just slips right off over the arms. I'll just take a look at it real quick, because Obi-Wan's is pretty much the same. It does have some stitching here at the bottom of the hood to kind of hold it down, I guess, or put it in place, give it that folded look they have. So, you know, stitching, if you've seen any Hasbro soft goods before, it's no surprise. Well, let's take a look at Qui-Gon's face. And I have to say, that's a very, very good likeness of Liam Neeson. I think they captured him as Qui-Gon pretty darn well. I do like the paint apps on it. Looks like they used a photoreal on the face, at least, not the hair. But the beard, it's got the gray to it, especially around the goatee area. And just the eyes are very piercing. Very Liam Neeson. And it looks like we've got a paint app up here around the neck. The neck probably is a paint app as well. It's probably molded in this mostly. Got some paint apps around the belts. Or belt. And then looks like maybe paint app right here at the top of the, you know, bottom of the pants at the top of the boot. If that makes sense. Well, let's take a look at his articulation. He doesn't really look up. He looks down barely. No chicken neck, no waggle. He can... maybe we can get him to do the full exorcist. No, it looks like he looks about that far that way. And about that far that way. I'm sure if I forced it a little more, you know, past this point, it would go all the way around, but I just don't see the point in doing that. At the shoulders, no butterfly. He can raise his arm up, looks like slightly better than 90 degrees. With a little bit of outswing at the top, he can rotate his arm 360 degrees at the shoulder. Single hinge and swivel at the elbow, swivels around 360 degrees and gives you slightly better than 90 degrees worth of bend, 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist, and it's on an in and out hinge, and in and out hinge on the other side as well. You can tell this is an older mold because he has a cut at the waist, even though Darth Maul's a newer mold and has a cut at the waist, so that's weird. So it's on a ball joint, so he does get a little bit of hula there. He can lean back barely. He can lean forward barely. Left and right barely. He does get a nice 360-degree swivel there at the waist, though. At the hips, and the overlay here is not impeding the articulation any. It actually stops right there, so he can give you that much of the splits. He does have a cut here at the top of the thigh for another 360-degree rotation. Double hinged pinned knee. So another giveaway that this is an older mold, and it gives you that much bend. So at the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up slightly, and forward facing pin for rocker. And you can notice right there's a port on his belt, and his lightsaber ports in there. Of course, you wouldn't leave it with the blade in. So that takes a look at him. Now, come here, Obi-Wan. I missed the last time they released this guy too. And everything I said about his cloak pretty much is the same. You know, it all applies to Obi-Wan's cloak as well. Of course, I'm having problems getting it off because I'm filming. So it's a little tight there on the sleeves. So let's take a look at Obi-Wan. And I have to say, the likeness to Ewan McGregor from Episode 1 is quite accurate. It's very, very close. It might not be 100%, but it is very, very close. And they did a great job on those eyes. They're going to use the force to look right down into your threads. Just kidding, because we don't believe in that here. But very nice on the face. His sculpt is great. Now mine, out of the package, his Padawan braid there is bent, so I may have to take some heat to that to warm it up. To warm it up? Yeah, I'm going to put some heat on it to warm it up and, you know, put it where I want it to be. Now it looks like most of this is molded in this color. Now the neck piece looks to be a separate piece glued in there. The belt overlay is, you know, the belt itself is painted, and it's got lots of little paint apps on it for all the little doodads that he has on his belt, and that pretty much covers the deco on this guy, except for maybe, you know, he's got a little spot of paint. Well, he's got a few spots of paint there on his braid. So there we have that. Now let's take a look at his articulation. He doesn't really look up. He can look down that far. He can chicken neck. He's got some waggle. He can do the full exorcist, but his neck likes to go all the way around. So I'm thinking there's a dumbbell in here at the top. At the shoulder, rotates around 360 degrees with a good bit of outswing because of this shoulders of his tunic here. And he can raise his arm up not quite 90 degrees, it looks like. Single hinge and swivel at the elbow, swivels around 360 degrees and gives you slightly better than 90 degrees. 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist on in and out hinge, and on the other side in and out hinge as well. Cut at the waist. It's on a ball joint. He can give you that much hula. He can bend back that far. He can lean forward that far. He can lean left and right. 360 degrees of rotation there as well. At the hips. And it feels like the articulation actually stops there. But there is some impedance with this overlay. I think the material is just a little bit stiff. So there is that. He only gives you that much of the splits. And there is a thigh cut, and it gives you 360 degrees worth of rotation. Double hinged pinned knee. And I think we see this one. This is the leg from episode 2 Obi-Wan, leg and the boot. But he gives you that much bend at the knee, and then nothing in the shin. At the ankle, tilts down that far, so wow. Tilts up that far, so that's not bad. And then forward facing pin for rocker. And there you can see there's Obi-Wan's port for his lightsaber. And again, you wouldn't do this with the blade in it. And it would hang straight down, really. So there you have it, my friends. There's a look. Oops. At the figures. And he doesn't want to stand up now. But the figures and their accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the GameStop exclusive Star Wars The Black Series, The Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon Jinn, Darth Maul, and Obi-Wan Kenobi 3-pack. With the Star Wars The Black Series, Attack of the Clones, Count Dooku, Star Wars The Black Series, The Clone Wars, Darth Maul, and the Target exclusive Star Wars The Black Series, Clone Wars, General Obi-Wan Kenobi. For our final set of comparisons, here we have the GameStop exclusive Star Wars The Black Series, The Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon Jinn, Darth Maul, and Obi-Wan Kenobi 3-pack, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee from G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander from Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper, and for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the GameStop exclusive Star Wars The Black Series, The Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon Jinn, Darth Maul, and Obi-Wan Kenobi 3-pack, I don't understand why they didn't just call this the Duel of the Fates 3-pack. Would have been much easier. Everybody already would have known which figures come in the Duel of the Fates 3-pack. Obi-Wan, Darth Maul, and Qui-Gon Jinn, of course. And so I don't know what Hasbro or GameStop or whatever, I don't know what they were thinking when they just decided to name off the characters in the pack rather than calling it Duel of the Fates. I don't know what was going on there. So there's that. The likenesses on the characters, I don't think that the Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon sculpts have been changed. I just think the deco procedures used on them changed, and it makes them have a very close likeness to the actors on these figures. And of course that's the inkjet, and I'm sure they use it on Darth Maul as well. And, you know, this Darth Maul, the body is the same as the single-carded Darth Maul. It's exactly the same as the single-carded Darth Maul, except this one comes with a cloak and that one doesn't. And it's almost exactly the same as the San Diego Comic-Con Darth Maul and Sith Speeder pack, except that on that figure, the lower cloak is soft goods to facilitate him sitting on the speeder bike. And that's fine. And what they've got going on here, these vinyl overlays, or plastic overlays, soft plastic overlays, for this Darth Maul work very well. I missed out on this Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan every other time that they've been released. So that's why I was really keen on getting this 3-pack, so I could finally get a Qui-Gon and an Episode 1 Obi-Wan in my collection. I do, however, wish there was more updated on these two figures than the paint app procedures. I would have liked a little bit better joints in the knees, at least. Now, I do like the range of motion these double hinged pin knees have, but we all know these hinged, or these pinned knees tend to warp over time. In fact, my Qui-Gon, one of his legs is warped out of the package. Coming out of the package, it was warped. So there is that. Other than that, you know, it's a nice pack. If you didn't have any of these characters already, or you were looking for this updated Maul and you needed the Qui-Gon or you needed the Obi-Wan, or like me, you need both, then, you know, this is a pretty easy pickup. If you only needed the Darth Maul, of course you could have, you know, there were two other options for you to pick up almost this exact Darth Maul. You could have got the single carded one without the cloak, or you could have got the one with the extra soft goods and the cloak and a speeder bike. But to each their own. I have these. I can pass on the single carded Darth Maul now. I almost picked it up, but I've decided not to. Now that, you know, I have, you know, pretty much I have two of them in my collection now, along with the original Black Series Darth Maul. This, I guess he was Series 1. So maybe I can change him to like where they were fighting in the desert, where he and Qui-Gon were fighting in the desert, because he does have a different piece for that. Head and cloak and all that together. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content, or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.